Yes, so when I tell you, you need to consult these books, English collocations in use. Again, you need to begin with the intermediate level. You never go to the advanced level unless you have covered these levels first. And it's not only that you cover these books and you know these words for all your life. It's the idea is that you refer to these books every now and then, because we tend to forget things, and we need to go back to these books every now and then, every half a year, every month, I don't know, every year, to revisit, to revise the vocabulary presented in these books. Okay, now let's carry on. This was a bit of a theory for you to know where you study the how you study the things. I'm sure many of you were familiar with these books, but still it was just a reminder or some new information for the people who were not familiar. 6, we really appreciate the hotel information you gave us. It was very useful. The hotel information. We really appreciate, the hotel information you gave us. It was very useful. So we use the definite article to talk about the some concrete exact information about hotel, about this hotel is. 7, by the time they get here, there won't be any food left, because we will have eaten it all. So we use the present, future perfect. We will have eaten with the word by. So when you see the word by, which has the meaning of k, we need to remember that we have to use either future perfect or past perfect. Future perfect or past perfect. Because the whole idea is about the future, that's why we use the future perfect. If this sentence were about the past, for example, by the time they got there wasn't any food left because we had eaten it all. Then it would be past. 8 is A. Apparently, there has been a great deal of interest in the new Picasso exhibition. A great deal of interest. So a great deal is the synonym to the construction a lot. And a great deal of is used with uncountable nouns. A great deal of interest, we say, yes. We can't say a great deal of people because people is countable. We can't say a great deal of books because books is countable. But we can say a great deal of information, a great deal of interest, a great deal of money, because money is uncountable, yes? Plenty of, so a large number, we say a large number with countable. There has been a large number of people, for example. Now, next. 9. My parents haven't got a car, so I depend on public transport to get me to school. Depend on is a phrasal verb. Зависеть от, yes, we say. It's a typical Russian mistake. People say from, but it's not from, it's on. 10. Occasionally, the children are naughty, but on the whole, they are very well behaved. On the whole is an idiom, means generally, yes, on the whole. If we knew how much the trip would cost, 11, we could borrow, if we knew how much the trip would cost, we could borrow the money from my sister. So this is the second conditional. If you made a mistake here, you need to study conditionals. Conditional 1, like conditional 0, generally conditionals, because in order to understand conditionals, well, you can't study only second conditional, or only first, or only third conditional. You need to study them all. Only then will you have a clear overview of all the conditionals, and you will be able to differentiate between the 4 types. And there are 4 types, as you remember: 0 conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional, and there is also a mixture, mixed conditionals. It's the mixture of second and third conditionals. Okay, sentence 12. I wish I hadn't stayed up so late. I wish I hadn't stayed up so late. I feel exhausted this morning. So past simple, regrets about the past. So if you again got this wrong, it means that you don't understand the I wish structures. And in the Murphy grammar book, you will find the units called I wish. Question 13. She warned him against swimming in the sea because the waves were too rough. Against swimming in the waves, in the sea, sorry. So it's a phrasal verb, not a phrasal verb. It's not a phrasal verb. It's a prepositional phrase to warn somebody against doing something. And yes, it's also a part of reported speech. When in the reported speech, we study verbs for reported speech. So again, if you made a mistake here, you probably need to refer to the grammar units and study the topic reported speech of verbs with reported speech. Question 14. You shouldn't count on Bob to arrive on time. He's completely unreliable. You shouldn't count on Bob. It's a phrasal verb, count on somebody, like trust somebody, yes? 15. The children are getting tired. It's time we started getting them ready for bed. 15. Yes. It's time we did something. It's also a grammar point. You can also find this topic in the Murphy grammar book. I think it's also in the topic with conditional something there. 16. Their house got broken into while they were on holiday, but the thieves didn't take much. The house got broken into. So it's a verb, get done. Get done, yes. It's part of a passive voice. То есть в их дом влезли, да, во время каникул, во время отпуска. В их дом влезли. Если бы здесь было без got, their house broken into, или broke into, это значит, что дом сам ворвался. А тут в их дом ворвались, да? Вот это вот очень важная вещь для нас, get. Я вам сейчас вот, now let me explain this on using the whiteboard. So get plus verb 3. Третья форма глагола. It expresses reflexive. It becomes a reflexive verb. То есть возвратность, reflexive, так же, как в русском языке. Возвратность. Вот возвратность в русском языке обозначается частицей окончанием ся. Одеться, допустим, да? На английском как будет одеться? Get dressed. Ну-ка давай оденься. Я путаю. Оденься, да? Come on, get dressed. Он там разделся. Пошел к врачу и разделся в кабинете врача. He got undressed. Почему нельзя сказать dressed? Потому что dress — это кого-то нарядить. Да? То есть ты сам это сделал действие. А get dressed получается вот вся возвратность. Получается здесь тоже в их дом ворвались. Да, ворвались вот это ся, ворваться. Their house got broken into. So you remember this rule. Question 17. Justin was going to stay at home, but he changed his mind at the last minute. It's an idiom, at the last minute. In Russian, we could say moment, yes, but in English, it's at the last minute. And mind the preposition, at. Question with idioms, it's very important that you remember the whole phrase, word for word. You can't change, you can't add any other parts if they do not, if they are not required there. Some phrasal verbs, some idioms, for example, contain no articles. So you can't include articles even if you feel like they're necessary there. Question 18. The Prime Minister is expected to announce his resignation in the next few days. To announce. It's is expected to do something. It's a future phrase, a phrase describing the future. Question 19. She asked me whether, 19a, yes. She asked me whether I had ever been to a foreign country. 19a, if I had, whether I had ever been. So it's a report. It's reported speech. If you don't understand this, it means that if you made a mistake here, it means you need to study reported speech. Because if we change the sentence into the direct speech, we will have you ever been to a foreign country? She asked me. So we make it into the reported speech. She asked me whether or if I had ever been to a foreign country. You remember the word order in the reported sentence should be direct, not indirect. Question 20. Some of the guests complained about the hotel staff being rude to them. It's reported speech as well. To complain about somebody doing something, yes? You could have said, some of the guests complained that the hotel staff were rude to them or had been rude to them. 21. B. Whenever I don't know a word in Spanish, I tend to look it up in an online dictionary. It's a phrasal verb to look something up. It means you look in a reliable source, like a dictionary or an encyclopedia. 22. We didn't travel in the busy season, so we didn't have to book anything in advance. We didn't travel in the busy season, so we didn't have to book anything in advance. Modal verbs in the past. You can't use mustn't in the past. And the past form of mustn't is didn't have to, like had to or didn't have to. 23. We had B. So little money that we couldn't even afford to buy lunch. So little. We can't use so few because few is used with countables and little is with uncountables. We can't say one money, two money. So we have to say little. 24. I'm not sure which jacket I prefer. I just can't make up my mind. Make up my mind is a collocation, yes, to decide. They all are collocations with mind, but this is the suitable one. 25. Mr. Harris is the teacher whose classes I find most enjoyable. Whose, it's a relative clause, yes? Чьи уроки я больше всего люблю. Classes here doesn't mean классы, it means уроки. 26a. Peter's bicycle has been stolen, so he is borrowing mine for the time being. Because for the time being. So we use present continuous because not like for some time. 27. She's got an amazing opportunity. She can't pass up a chance like that. She can't pass up a chance like that. It's a phrasal verb. Pass up a chance. Yes. 28. Rita can be really annoying, but it's important to keep your cool and not get angry with her. Keep your cool is a collocation. 29. 29. Never have I been so disappointed as when I lost that race. Never have I been. Inversion, yes, cleft sentence for emphasis, an inversion. After, so when we begin the sentence with never, rarely, words like this, negative words, seldom, we have to use an auxiliary verb. Never have I been to Murmansk, or not Murmansk, where are we now? Oh, Mirny, yes. Never have I been to Mirny before, for example. 30. What they didn't seem to understand was how hard we had worked on the project. What they didn't seem to understand. It's a cleft sentence. Cleft sentence, it's a sentence that begins like this. What I don't understand, where I want to go this year is Turkey, for example. So you begin the sentence with what, where, with the question words, and then you explain. 31. There are a number of fitness classes on offer, several of which are free for students. Several of which. So if you made a mistake here, it means you have problems with relative clauses. Relative clauses. And yes, there are two types of main two types of relative clauses, defining and non-defining relative clauses. I will not go into detail now. 32. The Williams sisters are generally considered to be among the greatest tennis players. Generally considered. It's an it's an adverb collocation. To be generally considered. For example, you could say Yakutia is generally considered to be a cold place, but in reality, it gets quite hot here in summer. 33. While I enjoyed the latest film in the series, it didn't really live up to my expectations. Live up to my expectations. It's a what? It's a phrasal verb. 34. I'll always support Daniel, whatever people may say about him. Whatever people may say. So it's like, it's a topic with ever, whatever, whenever, wherever. 35. The problem with the article is that it gives you an incorrect impression about teenagers' attitudes to studying. 36. This ancient Roman site in South Wales was declared an area of historical interest in 1987. Was declared an area of historical interest. 37. C. This frozen meal needs to be heated thoroughly before you can eat it. Needs to be done. Needs to do something, yes. It's a passive voice. 38. The two men are now thought not to have been involved in the robbery, and the police have released them. Are now thought not to have been involved in the robbery. Yes, thank you for the question. Now, yes, we will take a short 10-minute break now. Okay, I will explain what collocations are later on, okay? A 10-minute break. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, stay with me, don't leave yet. 15-minute break, okay? I haven't had my lunch, so I need to eat, otherwise I will not have any energy. 15-minute break.
Okay.
Okay.